got a big match Sunday, Slammiversary, Tommy Dreamer. This is a little bit different, a little bit of a different style. I don't want to say a different style than you're used to because you've often worked this style. But as far as a competitor, Tommy Dreamer, obviously a little bit different than the rest of the Impact roster. How do you think that's going to work out?
Yeah, it's a lot of the stuff that I've been, dealing with and going through, over the last few months has been very different for me. And, I've welcomed that, and I still welcome that. As far as facing Tommy in a, the so-called hardcore icon or hardcore legend or the innovator of violence, facing him in a House of Hardcore match, I think I know what to expect, but I know I don't know exactly what to expect. You know what I mean? I've obviously been a fan of Tommy, for a long time, and I've watched his matches, and I know what he's capable of. But I think, the advantage for me is going into this, he doesn't quite know what to expect out of me. So that's kind of what I'm going with.
So I spoke to Tommy this week, and he said that he's big on keeping his word. He's big on honoring his word, whether it be within the world of professional wrestling and translating out into business. If you could apply one stipulation to this that he would have to adhere to after the fight, what would it be?
After the fight, stay away from my wife.
That's what I was gonna suggest.
That's pretty
Lose
clean
that
cut.
number.
I know that's pretty good there. Yeah, I think, that's the business of the match is to, take my, sure, I have some anger and aggression, so why not take it on Tommy and end this charade that he's putting on right now and kind of expose him for what and who he truly is.
So Impact, you've been there for, gosh, it's like, what, 4.5 years now?
Yeah, just about 4, yeah.
And
4.5, yeah.
You've seen Impact change bases a little bit. Now they're firmly in Toronto. How has that affected things for you? Essentially moving the place where you work out of into a different country.
Yeah, like you said, I've been here, for over 4 years now, and I've gone through a couple changes now. It's not the first time, but going through this change, the best thing is being able to feel that everybody is on the same page. From the front office to the boys in the back to production to everybody involved, everybody behind the scenes. We all have that same goal, and it's just to make Impact the best Impact Wrestling that we can, and I think it's a very comforting thing to be able to feel it, and you're not questioning anything that's going on. I'm fully confident in the capabilities of our company from top down to the bottom, and that's a very good thing. So I'm excited to see where we can go from here, and Slammiversary is basically the next stop on the Impact Wrestling expedition here.
So you've been there for a while. You've probably got some influence. Is there anybody that you've pushed to get into Impact that maybe has?
I not so much trying to get people in. I of course, guys that I know and guys that I'm fans of, I kind of try to pass on info and stuff like that. But it's also like, guys who come in and guys who are newer. I always kind of want to be somebody that a guy can kind of come to and ask an opinion or anything. Not that my opinion is right by no means, you know what I mean? Everybody has their choice of flavor there. But I like to be a guy that can kind of help out if they want that. You know what I mean? I'm not a guy who's going to go and grab people and give them my opinions if they don't want them. If they don't want them, that's fine. But I like to do my best to help out kind of everybody on the roster. And I think that's a great thing about Impact right now is everybody, as far as the boys, speaking for the boys, like it feels like, a true team effort, and that's always obviously a good thing. So everybody's kind of helping each other out just to put that best product out there. And I think that's definitely an advantage we have right now, and that's definitely a nice change of pace from a lot of other places,
Yeah, there were a couple people I had talked to about a year and a half ago, and they said, because there was always the fable of Impact morale backstage, and I had a couple people back then that said, we don't see these guys enough to dislike anybody or have a bad feeling, and that's changed now. And I get an overwhelmingly positive reception for the way that the company is run now, and now you all are filming stuff very often as opposed to, once every 3 months, and then you don't ever film anything again. How do you think that's changed? Because the direction of Impact has changed. It's tough. It's much tougher to get spoiled on the program these days than it used to be.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing. Before we were doing 5-6 day loops. We even did like a 10-day loop at a time, and just obviously physically going through that, you're getting worn out by the end. But same with the fans, and it's tough to you do your best to keep that morale up in the back, but everybody gets tired. Everybody's gonna get tired from production down to the boys. You know what I mean? You're doing 6 days on, 7 days on. It's tough. So it's nice to be able to do 2-3 days at a time and still, see those boys, see your friends, kind of get back into it. It's like you're not going to lose the momentum. You know what I mean? You shoot something, one thing, and then 3 months later you go back and try to continue the same thing. It's sometimes a little tough to kind of get back in that same mode and the same mindset. But if you're filming more often, you stay in that mindset. It's always fresh on your mind. It's fresh on the fans' minds too. You know what I mean? That's kind of an underrated thing, is that the fans, they need a break too. They're great, but they're going to be there for a few hours at a time, and you just can't overwhelm them with so much for so many consecutive days. So doing a few days at a time, and also going all over and taking part in other independent shows, it's helping kind of get our product out there, and it's also keeping things fresh. And I think you can feel that in the locker room.
Obviously, your tag team with Davey Richards helped establish yourself in the company. Do you still keep in touch with him?
I do. We text each other here and there, try to keep up with what he's doing. He's doing well. He's in school right now, and he's killing it in school and trying to be a doctor and all that stuff. So my hat is off to him always. He's always given the cliche 110% in everything he's done, whether it's wrestling or his job, and he's doing that right now.
It's been a year since he wrestled, and he would often talk about retiring. It wasn't a secret. Like years and years ago, he was saying, "This might be my last year. Might be my last year." Were you surprised that he finally did, at least for now, hang him up?
Well, I'd say it's for the time being. By no means. I don't think he's done. I think it's just he wanted to take some time off, heal his body. I know he got some injuries taken care of, kind of heal his body, go through school and handle that, and kind of put all this focus on that. Because everybody kind of gets burnt out, and especially we're trying to do too many things. A lot of things outside. So I think he just wanted to put all his focus on that. But I think he'll be back, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the Wolves back someplace down the line.
We saw you all. Well, we didn't see it, but you all stood out in a WWE Tryout before you came to Impact, and ended up deciding to go to Impact. What type of reception did you get from the coaches and everybody there?
Oh man, when we went down there, they treated us great. It was like, we went down there for a week, so basically we just kind of jumped on in to the training facility, into the class, and they just treated us like, we were always part of the class. We didn't feel, not left out, but we didn't feel like we were the new kids in class. We just kind of jumped in and did our thing, and everybody, behind the scenes, all the coaches, everybody, treated us great, and I have nothing bad to say about that time we were there. It was good, and it definitely, we were able to use some of that stuff that we went through and we were taught down there, to use going forward.
Are your issues with Sami Callihan over?
They will never be over until he's long gone. Then maybe our issues will go with that. But as long as he's around, that's something that will always be in the back of my mind. It should always be in the back of his mind.
Yeah, he seemed to think that it was all done. Seems like wishful thinking on his part.
Yeah, that's fine with me. If he can think, he's riding a unicorn. It doesn't matter what you think; it matters what's really happening. And what the real deal is that I still haven't forgot where this, everything has stemmed from, where everything in my mind has come from. And that's one Sami Callihan and OVE.
So in the time that you've wrestled, it's crazy to think you're 34, but you've been wrestling since 2002?
Yeah, yeah.
So technology has advanced. There's the Global Wrestling Network. You have a lot of services out there. You can see almost everything these days. What is a match of yours that you were like, even back in the day, that you were like, man, I tore the house down. The other guy in the ring with me tore the house down, but maybe a lot of people didn't see it.
Oh man, I always feel weird answering those type of questions, but something that I guess I'm proud of is winning the GHC Heavyweight Championship for Pro Wrestling Noah over in Japan. My match against Nakajima, the match that I was able to win the championship, and then I was able to defend against Marufuji, who's a Japanese legend, one of the greatest of all time, really. And then my match against Kano, who unfortunately I lost the belt to, but I'm still proud of the stuff that we did in that little run. I'm proud of what I was able to accomplish in the matches we were able to produce out there.
I actually discovered Noah when I was younger because of Too Cold Scorpio. Didn't you tag with him a bit?
Oh yeah, we did. He was over there when I first went over. He was one of the big foreigners over there. He's a good dude, man. He really helped me out when I first went over there.
As I look back and I review like retro content, I'm looking at him and I'm like, that's a UFC heavyweight. Like he's 240 pounds and he's doing moonsault leg drops. That's psychotic.
Yeah, he's deceivingly big guy. Yeah, I mean, especially like you look at how wrestling has changed, and there's not quite as many big guys these days. He's like a super heavyweight doing this stuff out there. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
What else are you looking forward to in Slammiversary, or do you just have tunnel vision right now?
It's of course it's a little bit of tunnel vision, and I'm focused on what I got to do out there. But I'm also looking forward to the event as a whole. Slammiversary, probably the biggest pay-per-view that we have each year, and just knowing that we're going into a sold-out building, knowing that we're going in there, we all have expectations. The fans have expectations. Us as wrestlers, we have expectations. So it's a nice little thing. It's a nice sense of pressure that, as far as myself, I like to put on myself. Like, we have to go out there, we have to deliver. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see what everybody's going to do, what what people are going to pull out in their matches. You never know, especially at a pay-per-view like this, and especially, speaking for myself, like a House of Hardcore match, the possibilities for us are endless, and I'm looking forward to, top to bottom, all these matches, and I'm looking forward to seeing, is this the time? Is this when Moose, wins that championship in front of a sold-out crowd? It's gonna be something special. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope the fans are too.
As we wrap up, I always like to hear the stories behind how a wrestler developed their finish. How did you develop yours?
It was actually, I do the Boston Knee Party, and well, the name obviously from Boston Tea Party, but it was something that, of course I was a fan of Japanese wrestling, and the Shining Wizard, Great Mura's finish, I had seen, I was obviously a fan of, but then I tried to think of, well, can I do it if the guy is just standing? I don't know if I can actually jump that high, but I wanted to try, and it's a move that I had used previously, in my matches, but then I realized, hey, I can do this to anybody as long as they're not very, very tall. I can pretty much do this to everybody. So I'm going to use this, and there it was.
Eddie, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and best of luck on Sunday.
Thank you, bud.